If you're planning to walk onto BC Ferries heading from Vancouver to Victoria, this video shows you exactly what to expect. I'm heading to Tsawwassen Terminal right now, and if you're driving like I am, once you're on Highway 17, it's a straight shot all the way to the terminal. The road literally ends at the ferry. As you get closer to the terminal, the signage makes everything really straightforward. The road splits into clearly marked lanes early on, so you'll know well in advance where you need to be. If you're walking on like I am, stick to the left lane. That'll take you towards long-term parking or the foot passenger drop-off area. If you're driving your vehicle onto the ferry, stay in the right lanes. As you approach, the road fans out into multiple lanes depending on your destination, and the staff are usually out helping direct traffic if it gets really busy. The first thing you'll notice is the stall numbers, and a lot of them have been painted and repainted multiple times, so they can be really hard to read. If yours is worn out, just check the spots beside you, because that'll give you a clearer idea of what number you're parked in. And don't forget your license plate, because you'll need both that and your stall number when you go to pay. Head towards one of the red roofed pay stations, but make sure it says long term if that's the lot that you're in. The machines are easy to use, just tap your credit card or even Apple Pay and you're good to go. As I walk toward the terminal, you'll see the short-term parking lot just off to the side. If you're just here to pick someone up or to wait for an arrival, this is ideal because you can park for a shorter window, like an hour, without being forced into an all-day rate. Now here's a key tip. If you're buying your ticket on site, skip the long line and use one of these self-serve kiosks. It's way faster, especially if you're cutting it close to departure time. Just keep in mind, if you've booked online in advance, then you have to see an agent instead. As of filming, there doesn't seem to be a way to print a foot passenger ticket ahead of time, so double check that part if you're planning to book early. Once you've got your ticket, check the top. It'll tell you which berth you're departing from. Then just follow the signs. They're clearly marked and there are staff around if you need help. One nice tip, at certain berths, like berth 3, you'll find outdoor access points where you can step outside before boarding. It's a great way to grab some fresh ocean air and avoid the crowds if the terminal's feeling a little bit packed. Berth 3 also has bathroom facilities, but just a heads up, you'll need to navigate a few flights of stairs to access them. So if you've got mobility concerns, it's something to keep in mind. As I keep walking through the terminal towards berth 5, you'll see just how well signed everything is. It's nearly impossible to get lost. There are clear markers for each berth, and you'll also spot digital screens that show the next sailing time and destination, so you're never left guessing. If you're hungry before boarding, this is also where you'll find the SNB Café. It's the main food option inside the terminal. They've got a range of quick choices, from chips and pop to ready-made sandwiches, so it's a solid stop if you want to grab something before you get on the ferry. Here you can see passengers and vehicles disembarking from the arriving ferry, and this is actually the same area you'll be boarding through. It's a good chance to get your bearings and see how everything flows before you're sailing. Now it's time to board, and there is no need to rush. Everybody with a ticket is getting on, and there's plenty of space for foot passengers. You'll hand your physical ticket to a BC Ferries staff member at the gate, and then head up the hallway, the same one we saw earlier where the passengers were getting off. Once you're on board, you'll see how much seating there really is, and it's spread out across multiple decks. It might feel like a mad rush as people scramble to board, but unless the ferry is completely packed, there's truly no need to hurry. You will find a spot. There are also food options, cafes, and plenty of places to relax, which I'll show you in a moment. But first, here's a look at the Passages gift shop. It's fully stocked with everything from clothing, jackets, jewelry, bags, accessories, and even BC Ferries branded merch if you want a souvenir. Here's a look at the Coastal Cafe, which is the main dining area on board. If you're just grabbing a drink, snack, or something quick, you can use the self-serve line on the left, so there's no need to wait. But if you're after something hot or made fresh, head to the right side to order. They've got everything from burgers, sandwiches, and soup to breakfast plates, baked goods, and rotating daily specials. And recently, BC Ferries has started offering alcohol on board with a 2-drink limit per person, and you'll need to purchase a full meal to be eligible. You can't just buy drinks on their own. As you make your way to the far end of the vessel, you'll find the Seascapes Dining Lounge, a quieter sit-down space compared to the main cafe. You can pay a fee to enter, and that gives you unlimited coffee, tea, and soft drinks. They also serve full meals here. If you're traveling by car, keep in mind, you're not allowed to stay in your vehicle during the sailing. All passengers have to head up to the main decks. We're now leaving deck 5 where we boarded and heading up to deck 6 where you'll find the SeaWest Lounge. It costs $14 to enter, and that includes coffee, tea, and light snacks, but the real value is in the quiet atmosphere. No phone calls and hushed voices only. If the ferry is packed, this space is worth every penny. I wasn't kidding about the seating, and this is just a small portion of what's available on deck 6. You'll also find these workstations complete with their own power outlets, so it's a great spot to get some work done or charge your gear. Here's the Arbutus Coffee Bar, another option if you're after a specialty coffee or a quick bite. It's usually less busy than the main cafe, and a great stop if you just want something light and fast. And if you're traveling with little ones, Deck 6 has dedicated children's play areas, a great way to keep them entertained during the trip. Now we're heading outside, and there are multiple decks where you can walk around, grab a seat, or just take in the view. This is the back of the ship, where you'll find benches and open space. It's a great spot to hang out if the weather's nice. On a sunny day, this is where you're going to want to spend your whole trip, but if it's cold, rainy, or windy, well, you'll probably end up heading back inside like most people. If you're traveling with a furry companion, there's a dedicated pet area on board. They've got water bowls available, and it's also just a nice spot to hang out, even if you didn't bring a dog, but you still want to meet a few. Just a quick reminder, smoking and vaping aren't allowed anywhere on the ferry. It's a completely smoke-free vessel, including all of the outdoor decks. When you go up to deck 7, also known as the sun deck, you'll find the best views on the ship. It's the highest point on board and the perfect place to soak in the scenery on a clear day. There is ample seating up here, and it's warm and open when the sun is out, though it can get a little bit windy since you're fully exposed to the elements. One of the reasons there's so much seating overall is because a lot of the passengers choose to spend their time outside when the weather's nice, so it helps balance out the crowds indoors. Even on a busy travel day like this, you can see how many seats are still available throughout the ship. And if you're looking for a bit more privacy, the workstations are some of the best spots with your own little space and that power outlet. The sailing between Vancouver and Victoria is more than just transportation. It's a sightseeing experience in its own right. The route takes you through the southern Gulf Islands, passing by Salt Spring, Galliano, Pender, Maine, and others, with beautiful coastlines, forested bluffs, and small communities dotted along the way. One of the highlights is Active Pass, a narrow channel between Galliano and Maine that's known for its sharp turns and swirling currents. On a day like this, you'll see plenty of smaller boats, sailboats, fishing vessels, and pleasure craft all making the most out of the water. And if you're lucky, you might spot orcas, humpbacks, porpoises, or sea lions along the route. Even bald eagles are a common sight along the tree-lined shores. It's peaceful, it's scenic, and at times, it feels more like a coastal nature cruise than a ferry ride. As we get close to the Swartz Bay Terminal in Victoria, you'll hear the captain announce it's time for drivers to return to their vehicles and for foot passengers to start heading towards the exit. It usually triggers a bit of a mass exodus, but just like boarding, there is no need to rush. Everybody's getting off, and you'll be on your way soon enough. Getting off the ferry is easy, even if you're not sure where to go. Just follow the sea of people heading towards the exit. Pun intended. There's usually a steady flow of foot passengers, and the exit is clearly marked with signs that say Foot Passenger Exit, Swartz Bay, Victoria. So even if it's your first time, you'll have no problem finding your way. Just go where the crowd goes and take your time. Just keep following the arrival signs or the flow of people. It's all clearly marked. And if you look to your right as you exit, you'll see a lineup for passengers heading back to Vancouver, helpful to spot if you're planning a round trip. As you make your way through the terminal, it's a good time to recap the journey. Whether you're walking on, driving on, grabbing some food, or just soaking up the views, the trip from Vancouver to Victoria is straightforward, scenic, and surprisingly relaxing. Once you exit, keep to the right if you're catching a bus, whether it's public transit or a scheduled tour. There's also usually taxis lined up and ready for arriving passengers. Or if someone is picking you up, just continue straight ahead toward the main parking lot. And that's it. Welcome to Vancouver Island. I hope you enjoyed your trip.